Is that
Okay, we're live actually now. I was like, we're going live now, and then Nick was like, got prepared to actually be live, and then I was like, not quite yet. Anyways, welcome to the show. I will be hosting as sick today, and Nick will be hosting as tired today. So we're sick and tired. Yes, accomplished. Joke goal made. Anyways, we have some great topics. If I can scroll back up, that would be awesome. Ryzen 5 news, specs, all that fun stuff is coming. That'll be good. Very good. Pricing, good. Minimum specs, good. Other people here, sick. Anyways, Microsoft actively blocking Windows 7, 8, 8.1 updates on Kaby Lake and Ryzen systems. Can you stop? Also, Vulkan's multi-GPU muscle now requires Windows 10 as well. Just in case you didn't like Windows 10, they're going to try to make you like Windows 10, and hopefully people like me will be actively, very intensely looking into how they can switch their whole platform into a basis on Linux, because I'm trying to bail. That will maybe be a bigger
You're trying to bail Windows?
I'm trying to bail on Windows. I'm trying real hard to bail on Windows. I'm trying to figure out how I can do over motherboard instead of over network streaming of games and stuff, so I can play most of my games natively in Linux but streamed from a Windows VM, and games that aren't on Steam, because Steam is the only one that's going to handle any of this well. I'll have to just run through a VM, but I'm sort of maybe want to use Unraid, but Unraid might not even be the best solution for yeah. But I want the only thing I ever do on Windows to be launching and playing games. That's it, nothing else.
So essentially Mac OS for life. Roll the intro. Do we have... What? We have,
Freshbooks! We don't have music, we have my voice, and we also have Squarespace! .com/WAN. No guest. We're back.
.com/damn.
Was correct. So that's good. Let's start with Ryzen 5. So there was actually a leak slightly before, quote unquote leak, slightly before this whole thing was officially announced. There was a leak. I will show you guys. I have to click on Linus's screen, which is weird because it's not his screen. PC Master Race subreddit. There was I believe this is Guru 3D article. Let me scroll in there. Yeah, talking about Ryzen 5, but this isn't super important anymore because whatever, dude. Let me go back to no guest. We have actual announcements. So if we go to AMD.com and go to their press release page, that's even more fun. There we go. You can see the whole chart for it. Ryzen 5. You've got the 1600X, the 1600, the 1500X, and the 1400. The lineup here is actually pretty sick. 6 cores, 12 threads. I believe it's about half the price as the previous one. Maybe give or take a little bit. I don't remember exactly how much the previous one is at $200. This one's at $250. Cool. 6 cores, 12 threads, 3.6 gigahertz base clock, 4 gigahertz boost clock for $250 is actually pretty wicked.
Kind of nuts.
I've been interested in the Ryzen 5 lineup the whole time because looking at the stuff that we already have, the 1080p performance was not as great as other things, and I think with the processors that we already have, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Because if you're buying that tier of hardware, you're probably not gaming at 1080p. You're probably shooting for higher.
Or gaming isn't the only thing that you're doing.
That too. Yeah. So either you're not that worried about it and you're running workloads that are more related to things like Cinebench, where it's going to be using all them cores and you're just going to rock out anyways, or you're shooting above 1080p, so the performance numbers at high resolution was really what you're looking at, and then you're in great shape. With the Ryzen 5 stuff, it's going to be more interesting. Again, It's me, so I'm not going to really care too much until we get it on our bench here and try it ourselves. But now the 1080p performance is going to really come out strong. But the fact that you can get a 4-core, 8-thread processor at 3.2 gigahertz base and 3.4 gigahertz boost for $169 is pretty wicked. Or you can bump that up by a little bit, get 3.7 gigahertz on the boost clock for $189. That's only $20 more. It's a pretty tight product stack.
This is actually really interesting because, like, when Ryzen 7 was announced, I saw the pricing and I was like, wow, if their top end lineup has a chip at $329, like, are they going to price themselves out of the lower end entirely? Like, how are they going to do that?
And I think their whole stack is just really tight.
Yeah.
Really, really minor increments. You pay like $20-$30 more and you get a better processor.
So then I guess that's, that's kind of awesome, actually, because then price to performance actually becomes a conversation again.
Yes.
Instead of okay, here's where it slots into the price stack, so here's exactly where it's slotting into the performance stack, and we can pretty much estimate where everything's going to be before we even have it. Like,
which is so boring. So especially from the reviewer side of things, that is incredibly boring. When you know you have a shipment coming in, and you know exactly what it is, and you're like, "Okay, well, I know the conclusion of this video already.
This FPS in this game because it's priced at that."
Yeah,
it's pretty lame.
It's pretty boring.
But it's gonna be nice to actually have the conversation of like, "Hey, if you have $169 to get a 1400, if you get $169?
Yeah.
Is it worth saving that extra $20 and getting a 1500X?" That's a conversation now.
That is a really one thing that I'm excited for is not just like build guides, but like recommended builds are going to be way more interesting now.
Yeah.
Because instead of like, oh well, you have that budget, I guess just buy this stuff because cookie cutter builds are what everything is right now. We'll have a way wider range of things that you can do with your build. You can specify more specifics. Like, wow, great sentence.
Specify your specifics for specificity.
But like if you're sticking only at 1080p for like only certain games that aren't taking advantage of multi-core, then you go with one thing if you're gonna stay at 1080p, but you're not gaming. You're doing workstation stuff. Then you want something else entirely, and it's just, I don't know.
It's actually really cool.
Very exciting time. And build suggestions will include things like monitors, which is cool. I don't know. I like that.
I like how on the press release there's cautionary statement, and it's like
super long. Okay, let me scroll down. Where is this? Wow. What the heck? Is it the longest section that they have?
Yeah, this press release contains forward-looking statements concerning Advanced Micro Devices Inc. Informational purposes only, and may the features, functionality, available timing, expected benefits. Blah, 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 blah. It's just
that's like literally half the freaking page.
Yep. But
almost. Not quite, but
that's
it's
the
close.
society we live in, man.
Please don't sue us for things. We'd really like it if you didn't. We're just trying to say cool stuff about the processors.
We're just trying to give you guys cool processors, please.
Did you hear? Okay, this is slightly a bit of an aside, but I don't think you guys necessarily saw this because this one wasn't streamed, but I did a question and answers thing with Intel.
At PAX East.
And a guy came on stage with a Ryzen hat.
Nice.
That was epic. That was fun. I was very happy. Everyone at Intel was cool with it, which I thought was cool. An Intel person helped him, escorted him on stage and everything. Like, they were all cool with it. We roasted him a little bit. It was fun. He got the one Intel specific question wrong, which he defended with well, it makes sense. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Although you should know about the people that you don't like too, to justify the things that you do like, but whatever, don't worry about it, it's cool.
Blind fanboyism is the way the world works. Also, what's fun is because that conversation happened right after Ryzen, now there's going to be all the comments of Intel just pays them to talk about Intel whenever there's a Ryzen topic.
Oh, man.
I'm triggered.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I guess I should say super excited for Ryzen 5 to come out, specifically just because of what we were just talking about.
That's yes. That is the line that's going to start a new conversation. Well, not a new conversation, but a conversation that we haven't been able to have for 4 years?
Yeah. 5
years at a minimum. So
I don't know if you remember this too much, but the 8350 versus what was it? like I'm assuming 3500K, but Intel changes their product names all the time.
3570.
The like high-end i5 from that time.
Ivy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact pairing that the war
Or maybe
was.
Sandy Bridge.
But there was this giant freaking war back when we were in the garage.
I think that was Sandy Bridge.
No, it was just after that.
Okay.
I think it was 3000
Anyway.
series. Anyways, that was super intense. And like, it was fun being a reviewer because all the other reviewers are releasing like, oh man, we tried this like different benchmark and it came out this way and this processor's way freaking better. And we're like, oh my goodness, we need to try this, but like with our own types of benchmarks and we get different numbers or like they are represented differently in this one specific setup, or like maybe these guys are running a different version of Windows and this version of Windows plays more nicely with this specific processor or chipset or whatever. Like, man, that was fun. It's been a little boring. Not to like, yeah, it just sort of has. Everything just...
It's been less exciting than it could have been.
There we go. Yeah, there's the proper PR answer.
But we're getting there.
Yeah.
So Ryzen 5 will hopefully put us back into like that, oh my god, state.
And I'm really excited for something we also haven't experienced for a while. You go on like PCMR subreddit and stuff, and you see everyone like, oh, 1080 Ti came out, pictures of pulling the thing off. Yeah, it bought a really expensive piece of hardware. Yeah. One thing that'll be nice about Ryzen 5 is like, look, I made this very price performance optimized rig for exactly what I want to do. This totally makes sense for what I want to do, and I'm really proud of this system in general. That's super cool. That's like what I've always really liked about computers. It's always fun to have the like Halo product Lamborghini effect. Everyone wants to look at the super sick processor or the super sick graphics card. That has always been a thing. The first time I started working here and Linus handed me two, like, I think it was 580s, I was like, holy crap. There's always that moment. But still, it's cool to see what people can like be proud of and come up with in terms of different build decisions and stuff like that. And for a while, it's been a little cookie cutter. Yeah. Anyways, moving on to a topic that depresses me quite a bit. Microsoft is actively blocking Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 updates on Kaby Lake and Ryzen systems. In an effort to get you to upgrade to Windows 10, updates on legacy versions of Windows 7, 8, and 8.1 are not supported on new chips like Intel 7th generation or newer, AMD Bristol Ridge or newer, including Ryzen, and Qualcomm 8996 or newer. This is a post from Ars Technica. And this just, yeah, it legitimately makes me really sad because this is a very lame way to push people forward. And absolutely unneeded.
Yeah.
It's like there's some fair statements in here. Using Windows 7 on these latest systems is already awkward in many situations. The operating system has no built-in support for USB 3 or NVMe, while neither hurdle is insurmountable at all. That's a really important statement within this article. They're like very easy to overcome issues, like not that big of a deal. Installing Windows 7 at the very beginning can sometimes be a little bit rough because those USB 3 drivers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But almost every board has at least 2 USB ports. You can get going with your keyboard and mouse. You can get those USB 3 drivers installed and everything's fine.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Maybe this is, you know, the sign that soon we'll only have USB 3 drives. Or
ports?
Ports.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a positive to it, Luke. You don't have to be such a pessimist all the time. Embrace your Microsoft overlords.
My motherboard has a PS2
Embrace
port.
them.
Because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah, but that's because you're just like a weird hipster douche sometimes.
I'll take that. That's fair. We just released the analog video. There's no way I would be able to get away with that. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a thing sometimes.
That's another thing noted in the Ars article, though, is that installing Windows 8.1 is a relatively smooth sailing experience. And with Kaby Lake's overwhelming similarity to Skylake, dropping support does feel rather unnecessary. I have very recently installed Windows 8.1 on a few different systems.
Yeah.
zero issues.
Right.
No matter what tier of processor I was using. And I used a fairly wide range.
Do you think
Not too crazy. I didn't go way too far back, but like still.
Do you think there will be something like a Windows 9 that gets around this somehow, or is this like
no? Because
rooted in
Windows
the-
9 is Windows 9 is
Yeah.
very technically just Windows 8.1
Okay,
with
so
like some
there's
skin
like
mods on it that
this
make
is
it
like
look like Windows 7. So the name should actually be like Windows 8.5 or something, if you want to call it, or like Windows
95
7.5 or something. Yes. Sure, I like it.
So
Yeah.
anyway, this is too much of like a baseline change to have someone be able to come in and hack it out or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I don't
reasonably.
think that's really gonna happen.
All right.
Not with Windows. But if you did something like Linux, you could make your own fork and make it work.
Yeah, but then you have to actually do things.
Yeah,
I don't like doing things.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I will hopefully, if I can get everything working to the degree that I want it to, which, like, to give some background for this, I am very much not a fan of Windows 10. I stream a fair amount, and I've been having a lot of issues using Windows 10 compared to using previous versions of Windows. So and then like all the telemetry data, stealing all your
Yeah.
stuff, and like all the things that have been happening around that lately, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't need everything in my entire life to be cloud connected all the time, and I would rather just connect to services when I need to connect to them. It's really not that big of a deal for me to not have Cortana constantly running and not really be able to be properly disabled and having it re-enable itself and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Super annoying. So I personally want to try moving to Linux, but I still need my Windows for certain things that just aren't going to run on Linux very well. So I have a lot of work ahead of me. I want to use Synergy
Okay.
to make it so that my mouse can go across systems super easily, and one keyboard and mouse that I can never really tell that I'm using two different systems, and one monitor will just be Windows and one monitor will be Linux. And I want to be able to like transfer everything back and forth and have everything work beautifully. But yeah, that's a long ways coming. Don't expect this video anytime soon. Might not even end up making the video. It's just going to be my personal setup. I would like to, but that would probably involve hauling my rig to work, so maybe not.
Fun.
Because amethyst falling off and stuff
Yup.
would be bad.
That would not be good.
It's happened twice. Amethysts have fallen. There's one update for my personal rig. Amethysts have fallen twice. Both times were when I moved the system. The first time was moving my system to my house. The second time was moving my system from the desk that it was at to a new desk.
So like, those are all just gonna fall off within like in the next few months.
I don't think all of them. The only ones that fell off didn't have very good connections because I had to mount them to a thin rail. Like if this is the amethyst rock, I had to mount them to a thin rail here.
Yeah.
All the ones that had a flat wall are sticking quite well.
Oh, okay.
To the point where I can like grab it and kind of pull on it a little bit and it's staying there.
Cool.
But like the ones that are above where like the heatsink are and stuff, those are sketchy because I mounted
Yeah.
those on the fan bracket for if you want to install a radiator in the top.
Okay.
So if I can maybe find some other way to mount them up there, they'll be fine. But yeah, everything else has been fine. It's just the ones that are above like the CPU heatsink that have been an issue. Moving on. So this is Chrome 57 wanting to throttle background tabs to save energy.
Do you want to do the Vulkan thing or no?
The Vulkan thing. Did I miss something?
Yeah,
I did. Vulkan's multi-GPU muscle.
So this kind of ties into the Windows 10 topic.
Yes, also requires Windows 10. So Vulkan will only support multiple GPUs in Windows 10, dropping Windows 7, 8, 8.1 operating systems. Native multi-GPU support for NVIDIA, GeForce SLI, and AMD Radeon Crossfire setups will now require WDDM to be set to linked display adapter mode, something that is exclusive to Windows 10. So I talked about this a little bit. I didn't talk about the requirement for Windows 10,
Right.
but I talked about like the different modes, like LDA M or link display adapter mode, LDA, all this other kind of stuff. In the WTF is going on with SLI video. If you want to check that out, I can't point in the corner because this isn't going to be edited
It's a live show.
I just got the
Live
like
show.
physical reaction that I was like referencing a video, and I needed to go like this because like just shoving your fingers up to my left is like just what happens whenever I reference a video. But yeah, if you want to learn more about like link display adapter modes and like all that other weird stuff that is happening with weird and actually very cool stuff that's currently happening with multiple graphics cards, check out the WTF is going on with S Live video. And if that intrigues you and you're like, I want to deep dive into more things, check out WTF is going on with DX12 and Vulkan, which is actually still a very valid video, which I'm happy about. Even
Cool.
with current information, it's very valid. There's some things that have been like refined slightly, but not even that much. We're pretty much in the exact same spot we were at before. Game developers are not building things from the ground up with Vulkan DX12. They're starting with DX11 and then like converting things over, and it's not being properly optimized, and none of it really matters yet.
But Luke, you didn't test on Vulkan and DX12, so obviously your
That was
methodology
insane.
is flawed.
I am so happy that that's done. I am so happy that people have stopped that. That was freaking nuts. Oh my god.
Fun times.
Oh my god, you guys are shills because you didn't use this thing that is broken.
Oh, people are fun.
Okay, now actually moving on to Chrome 57. Chrome 57 will throttle background tabs to save energy. After 10 seconds of being in the background, not in focus, I guess, because you could have a bunch of monitors, it will drop its performance by a little bit.
So, like, I wonder how that's going to affect the performance of stuff like YouTube music or like Twitch streams, where a lot of
Floatplane
people,
Club.
where any of those, where a lot of people will be doing their work on their main monitor or whatever, and they'll have like music in a different tab or a video playing in a different tab.
So 1% of CPU is still a fair amount.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see how this works for like lower end laptops and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. One thing that I'm hoping is they specifically wanted people to start using service workers because service workers will be able to better manage this. I'm just hoping that it's a little bit intelligent.
Sure.
Like if basically Twitch streams is the biggest thing I'm worried about, because the majority of people that I know that watch Twitch streams do not have that Twitch stream as their main window. They're doing something else. Hazy probably making a website. Nick probably sending emails or working on other various things.
Or just like doing other things at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe not
Yeah,
even at your
like-
computer necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't even watch that much Twitch streams, but if I do, I'm usually also playing a game.
Yeah.
And it's often like about the game I'm playing, because I'm like, I wonder if other people are experiencing this thing. I really like that about Twitch. I can just be like, I have weird bugs in this section. Let me go check out a few other people playing the same game, see if they're having the same thing. Everyone watches Twitch in their own way. I'm sure there's people watching right now that have this selected as their main window, but like, I also know there's a huge percentage of people that don't do that. And on some devices, that 1% CPU limit thing might actually come into play there.
So just to do like a live test, I opened up Edge and just opened up our stream on source quality, and it's the max it was at was 0.3% of CPU usage, but this is a Blade.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's not going to use much CPU on this computer. If you're using like a Dell from 2005, it might kind of screw you up a little bit.
Yeah, that might hurt. That might legitimately hurt. It's going to really depend device per device. I don't think this is going to warrant like a video, but I think it would be a really cool forum thread if you guys start, once this is out, if you guys start discussing like the different effects on your usage and your computer. I think that could be pretty cool.
Gunrun says use the desktop app.
Yeah, actually. Hey, Gunrun. I haven't done this yet, but I'm really interested. I think you get it from downloads.twitch.com. Can you check that real quick, just to make sure?
Yeah.
I guess I can too. Downloads.
.com or TV?
Probably TV. Yeah, my bad. No. Is that not it? Gunrun will probably post the proper one.
Yeah, just post the link in the chat, Gunrun, whenever you have it. Also,
the desktop app looks super cool, though.
some people are saying Firefox Master Race. I haven't used Firefox in months because the last time I did it was like the biggest.
I was a major fanboy. It didn't
I
work
loved
for me.
Firefox, and then it just stopped working.
Right
like
there.
6 months ago.
app.twitch.tv/twitch.
The Twitch app.
There you go.
This is a public server. Anyway, we should do this later because we're
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
But that could be something for sure.
That would be cool because then Chrome isn't going to meter you. I used to be a giant Firefox fanboy, and I don't even use it anymore.
Firefox was great, and then it wasn't anymore. Like, I don't know what else to say. It just like stopped working entirely for me.
I think a lot of that had to do with Chrome or Google in general, I guess, pulling their support. Because Firefox used to just like lavish in the Google money by being like, yes, Google will be our default search engine.
Yeah.
And now they don't make nearly as much from that. And then I think the reaction to that was to expand and try to do other things. And I don't think that worked out for them super well. I could be wrong. I know they axed something for the recently.
Someone in the chat says it won't throttle media, but I'm searching for media in this article, and I do not see anywhere where it mentions not throttling media. Video. No mention of it. So
I know it very
maybe,
specifically mentioned like JavaScript stuff.
So maybe it won't throttle media. Maybe this is all a conversation for naught, but if that's not carved out, it could be a potential issue for sure.
Yeah, and again, like I said, discuss this on the forum. Once it comes out, try playing media stuff. See if you can find a site or a computer that won't play very nicely with different things because it's not new and it's old and slow and stuff. And see if you can get it over 1% in a background tab with media. If it doesn't throttle it, then there you go. We've solved that problem, figured it out. I don't think there's going to be that many things that this is solving, though, if it's not throttling media.
Yeah, I really...
Personally.
Okay, to be fair, there are a lot of sites that have, like, ads and other crap that use up
super
a lot
heavy.
of your
Yeah.
CPU. But
Close 'em.
this doesn't help a lot of people that run, like, ad blocker and all that stuff. It's just inhibiting them, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
not sure.
It's going to be weird.
Speaking of... How can I tie
Speaking
this
of
in?
the dumbest thing I've ever read in the last forever.
This is hilarious.
Like,
Apparently a very close... I hope it's not us. Apparently a very close U.S. ally shot down...
Probably us. Have you, like, read the drone regulations out here?
It's pretty nuts.
They're so stupid.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah.
It's like you can't fly over, like, 100 feet or something. You can't be within, like, this many kilometers of a roadway or a school or an airport. Like, and obviously airport makes sense. But, like, if you look into Canadian and specifically BC drone regulations, like everything else, BC is, like, the dumbest place to live in terms of legislation.
Yeah.
They're so stupid.
BC has been described as the wild, wild west of North American politics.
Yeah, BC has also been, well, Vancouver specifically has also been described as no fun city because our legislators are, like, so overbearing.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, a very close, it is said to be very close. I know the title doesn't say that, but it's said to be very close. U.S. ally shot down a $200 drone with a $3 million Patriot missile.
I don't think Mexico has snow, so very close is probably...
Oh, no.
It's us.
I don't know if
It's
that's
us.
like an actual photo of it happening, though.
It's us. Well, that's very true. But then I would
Yeah.
question the accuracy of this article. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's get on to it.
The one thing that was great is he said that it did a really fantastic job. The drone is definitely no longer flying.
I
So,
hope
like,
so.
there you go. Mission accomplished. We can all go home. That's good. He said it was a gut instinct. He said that's an air defense problem because they're in the air, so they shot it with a gigantic $3 million missile because they're in the air. One thing that was interesting was it was stated, like, if we're going to have these types of reactions to drones, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, one of the easiest ways to, like, fight against North American allies would just be to fly really cheap drones everywhere and have them shoot them with $3 million missiles.
So-
and then you just bleed them financially.
Commenting on the return on investment, he said, if I'm the enemy, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to go on eBay and buy as many of these $300 quadcopters as I can and expend all the Patriot missiles out there.
Yep, that would be a pretty good plan. That's like when you're playing Red Alert and you use like a really low tier unit to run really close to the tank, and then the tank shoots and it blows itself up. Really effective. Really good strategy. Red Alert 2, good game. I believe that works with siege tanks as well. StarCraft 2, nobody plays anymore. That's fine. Moving on. I just thought that was hilarious. That was in the doc. We probably don't have anything else to say there. This is not the scope of this show. It's just funny.
How dumb. How dumb.
There's drone in the title, so we were like, whatever, we'll talk about it. Google is looking into revamping ad policies after big brands boycott. So this is not surprising. They've already moved in this direction. This was a freak out from not that long ago where a whole bunch of different YouTubers were saying that YouTube is like, oh, they're going to shut us down and all this kind of stuff.
For like the demonetization based on certain tags and all that stuff that was happening a while ago.
Yeah. And this, like, this is a really long kind of, not wall of text because it's paragraphed, but like the notes in here are talking about how different like taxpayer funded ads would be going before extremists or people that are sexist or whatever else.
The UK government found out that their PSA ads were appearing before videos uploaded by, to quote, rape apologists, anti-Semites, and banned hate preachers. So this means that those people are getting money from UK taxpayers. Some others were affected, like British supermarket chain J. Sainsbury Pick. That's like the most British name for a supermarket.
Yep.
Hello, this is J. Sainsbury Pick. How may I help you today? Hello, governor.
Wow.
You want a spot of tea?
Oh, jeez. We just lost all of our British fans.
Sick. They appeared on videos posted by the white nationalist Polish Defense League. The Guardian and L'Oreal ads appeared next to extremist and hate-filled videos. In response, Google announced changes in ad policy to give clients more control over where their ads appear on YouTube, and the Google Display Network would appear in the coming weeks. So,
Gunrun was like, banned. Sorry, I just glanced over and saw that. That was fantastic.
So, already got my tea, says someone. The question then is, how do they ensure that this isn't going to essentially blur the lines of comedy, which is something that's been happening lately a lot with the whole PewDiePie thing. So is the advertising policy going to make a determination between what is held as a joke and what is held as someone's opinion? How are they supposed to make those determinations? Obviously, that's an extremely difficult thing to do. So yeah, it's just any time. Obviously, there has to be, limits set in place once YouTube or something like YouTube gets to the level that it's at now, where it's so huge that these giant brands are advertising. They have to do something.
Good.
They have to do something about a lot of the content that goes on the platform.
And there's different, like, just to chirp in here for a second. If you have, like, a late night comedy special and it gets a little racy and you say some kind of edgy stuff, that's great. But you have late night TV ads going with that. There's certain brands that aren't going to want to go on your edgy comedy special.
Totally.
This is talking about, like, TV stuff. And I completely get it. If I was an advertiser, I wouldn't want my ads going on certain videos. I understand that. I think it's going to take a lot of work on YouTube's end to make this work well.
The concerning part is, look what happened with the copyright claim system on YouTube for however many years.
Yeah.
That should have taken a lot of work. Instead, they were like, automate it.
Yeah.
Screw them. Automate it. So if they take the same kind of approach, which I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to do, it could turn out to be, very concerning for some creators, because there are creators out there who do take that kind of very rash approach to comedy that could be perceived as hate speech and all that stuff. So just to
And that's just like, to the people that are doing just edgy comedy stuff, this might be a time for, not that I'm in necessarily a position to tell you how to run your company, but this might be a time to reach out and try to do other things to make money. Try to diversify your income. No, because being a YouTuber is scary. Sometimes policy changes happen, and you can just lose everything from under you.
It's crazy.
So before this comes in and you potentially get flagged as someone that they don't want, like having ads going through your channel for these different brands, maybe try to figure it out.
And I'm
maybe
sure
start selling some edgy shirts, man. People like edgy shirts.
I'm sure that it's not going to be like a blanket policy. I'm sure that it's like they're saying, if we can go by what's been said so far,
it seems like pretty extreme
cases. Extreme cases. There's going to be dashboard applications where advertisers can kind of specify what they want, and as long as it all gets implemented like that, I think it's great. Because what that does is it lends confidence to the platform. It gives these larger brands, more peace of mind that they're advertising on stuff that they would want associated with their brand, and it just grows the entire industry, because that's something that we've been working on for the last however many years now, is like legitimizing the industry, and it's finally sort of getting to that point.
Another weird way to look at it is it might even be better for the other side, because if you're on YouTube and you're really into watching your white nationalist thing, you might not want to watch an ad for a company that supports all these things that you don't like.
J. Salisbury's PLC.
Yeah. Maybe you don't like that supermarket. I don't know. This could be better for everyone.
Hey,
I don't know.
Potentially. I hope it is.
It's a weird way of looking at it.
So Nitro corrected me in the chat. Apparently it's not PIC. It's not PIC. It's PLC, which stands for Public Limited Company, which I didn't know. Up here we call them LTDs or corporations or Incs. So they just call it Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's?
Sainsbury.
That's still like...
Sainsbury.
That's still the most British supermarket ever.
Very British. At least to us.
Who are we to talk,
We're not exactly an authority.
We go to the
good old real Canadian superstore. We're gonna go get some cheese.
It's literally called
gravy,
the Real Canadian Superstore.
And we're gonna get some potatoes, and we're gonna put them all together and make some poutine.
Have you guys ever seen? Okay,
Putin. It's
Putin.
pronounced poutine.
Putin. What the heck was that? I don't know if you guys know this. We're gonna go off topic here for a second, but different brands will differentiate their like American and Canadian branches just by like hiding little maple leafs in their marketing. And one of the easiest ones to tell is with Wendy's. And you can see it because like the apostrophe, do you see that? It's just a little maple leaf. And that's a super Canadian thing. We're not gonna stand out too much. We're not gonna try to hurt anybody's feelings. We just want the apostrophe.
Hey,
if you can just make the apostrophe a little maple leaf, we'll just be so happy. That's all we need.
After we go out there and play some stick and puck, we're gonna go down to the good old Wendy's. We're gonna get ourselves a Canadian burger. And I don't even know what this accent is. It's like half like...
It's a little weird. It's like
half like Southern, half Ontarian, like half Norwegian.
Sure. Yeah. Throw that one in there.
Anyway.
Speaking of which, if you want to watch I'm just going to throw a recommendation in here. A hilarious series. Maybe if you're 18 and above, because they use some like harsh language and other various things. But Letterkenny. It's about like Canadian hicks.
Is that actually funny?
Okay. It requires a certain sense of humor, but I find it entertaining.
Because I watched, like, they started on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So I watched like a couple of things, and it's like...
It's very different.
Some of it's funny. It just feels like they're like making the same jokes over and over and over and over and over again.
If you're watching Letterkenny Problems...
maybe.
Which is like the series that's on YouTube, which I think is like 1 through 6 episodes of like just them standing in front of the camera giving like essentially one-liners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what the show is.
Okay.
The show is like it has story progression and character development and like all this kind of stuff.
I'm trying to think of what they always say, like, oh, pitter patter, let's get at her.
Yeah.
It's
Pitter
like
patter, let's get at her.
just like the most hick Canadian thing ever.
I love it. My favorite one by far is your 10-ply, bud. The idea there is that 2-ply toilet paper is already soft.
Yes.
So
we
10-ply
understand.
toilet paper would be ridiculously soft, and you're just way too soft.
Speaking of pitter
the
patter,
idea.
let's get attering. Everyone wants us to move on. So
ad spots?
I mean, I was gonna say another topic, but I mean,
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
pitter patter. Let's get at it. Before we do ad spots, you want to do Floatplane?
Shh, nope. I don't have that set up this second because that's set up on Linus's laptop.
All right.
So let's do ad spots.
Floatplane's a thing.
Yeah. Well,
Let's just talk about. We don't
we
need to
can
show it.
Sure. I just don't know what. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Floatplane's a thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Streaming
we-
usually works, not always. Usually though, it's been pretty good lately.
Don't read the fine print, of which there is none, that says that it sometimes works and hopefully works, but then you can download it if it doesn't
Technically,
work.
when you sign up for Floatplane, there's like a hopefully this will work section that includes streaming.
Well, there you go.
But like a very
Hopefully.
high percentage of the time, streaming works. Not always,
Not always.
but a very high percentage of the time.
So anyway, on Floatplane, we have the Silverstone. This one just went up last night. The Silverstone headphone stand project conclusion.
Oh dang! When did that
2 years
start?
later.
Yeah. Okay. So the conclusion to a project.
It's actually
started
pretty
2
funny.
years ago.
Nice little vlog going on. Nice little vlog.
Yeah.
We reviewed an 18-month-old device,
Hell yeah.
the Surface Pro 4,
Why not?
because the price recently dropped, and we were like, should you buy it or should you wait for SP5?
Okay. Yeah.
Which should
There
you
you
do?
go. I'm actually waiting to see this video because for my mom's work, she wants like a tablet-y kind of thingy. And I'm like, maybe a Surface. 'Cause
Apparently,
it's powerful.
well, you'll have to watch
We'll
to
have
find
to
out
watch,
how
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Luckily, Floatpay member. Benefits of the job. So I'll be able to watch that one now.
There's also the MSI Trident 3 desktop review. So if you guys remember that little tiny console killer thing from CES that we checked out at MSI's booth, got a full review going on. And then there's also a very, very light laptop. You might even say it's only some grams of weight
Oh, dang.
that's on there as well. So we got a lot of good content
One
over
thing
there.
from the Tech Wiki side that I want to drop real
Oh,
quick
uh-huh.
is the like we passed 1 million subscribers, got a golden play button.
Woo!
Here's like the history of Tech Wiki. It didn't include everything. It didn't have my 15-minute scripts in it, which made me a little sad, but it's okay.
But if you're a fan of John, he hosts that video.
He hosts it. Yeah.
So
It's cool. I actually really like that video. There's multiple times where I burst out laughing, which is not that common because I've been on the internet for a long time and my soul is old and numb. But it's very funny. It's very well done. The skit at the end is funny. It's the whole thing's good. I recommend checking that out.
So if you love John and you love Tech Quickie, and especially if you love Dennis,
Dennis is in it too.
then you should go check that out. So anyway, Floatplane, it's great. We release new videos all the time, every day.
If you're having trouble finding it, go to the LinusTechTips.com forum. There's a button like at the top that says Floatplane Club. Click on that, you figure it out.
All right, cool.
Figure it out.
Sponsors.
Squarespace. Squarespace. 24/7 support, live chat, email. You need a website, you buy a website. Get it through Squarespace. Buy it for a year. You get a domain for free. You want to watch it on all the different things like your watch, your smartphone, your tablet, your console, your gaming PC, your non-gaming PC, whatever else it works. Responsive
Your
design,
watch?
no big deal. Commerce module. You want to sell things? You want to sell things really fast? You can do that with a commerce module.
You want to use their
It works.
templates?
It's built in. Templates. Boom. Any different kind of website that you need that has a lot of information
Commerce
on it.
module.
Yeah, you can sell stuff. We went over that one. We're good. Cover page. You can have one really beautiful, like modern website looking scrollable page with everything on it that you need. Linus hates those. That's fine.
Domains?
They're cool. Domains. You buy it for a year. You get a free domain. Just comes with it. It's packaged in. Don't have to worry about it. Everything taken care of.
Squarespace, make your next move on a website. Thing.
Yeah. Use
Isn't that
offer
their
code.
slogan? Sort of.
Make your move, I think.
Make your next move or make your next website or something. Make your next move on a website thing.
Sorry we got your slogan wrong.
It's
or
okay.
right.
It's
We
what
might
we
have
do.
gotten it right.
It's what we do.
Anyways, when you do decide to sign up because you want to make your website thing, use offer code WAN to save 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace! Squarespace! FreshBooks. So you're making so much money because you just set up this Squarespace site.
Yeah, and
you're
set up
like,
the commerce module.
man, I got stuff coming in. People are buying services and orders and items and all these different kind of things. I need to manage my time. I need to manage the invoices for the supplies I need to buy to do these jobs.
You need
I
to
need
manage
to
your website.
have different receipts that I need to be able to take photos of.
Yeah.
And manage my expenses.
Yeah.
You can do that through FreshBooks.
You can.
You can invoice people.
You can.
You can see when they read it.
So they
No
can't
guessing
come to you and be
games.
like, "Hey, I didn't get the invoice." You're like, "I gave you that invoice."
I got proof. It's
So-
in FreshBooks. So yeah, no big deal. It's fine. You can set up invoices in like almost no time at all. Send
Almost.
those off. No big deal. Obviously, it can't be literally no time at all.
I mean, it's
Maybe
pretty-
they'll
it's
get
pretty
there one
close.
day.
It's pretty close.
They're constantly optimizing, making things better. So who knows? The sky's the limit with these guys. They have a mobile app with all the functionality of the desktop app. So if you're on the go, you can just keep moving. No big deal. Don't have to stop. It's all fine. You can take FreshBooks with you everywhere. If you have questions, feel free to reach out. You can call to them, talk to a real human. No phone bull annoying things. It's all fine. Freshbooks.com/WAN. Enter WAN in the How Do You Hear About Us section. Sign up. Free trial. FreshBooks. They have mobile card readers. FreshBooks. So they can buy it online through your website or in person. Just be like, yo, done.
FreshBooks and Squarespace use both.
Boom.
Cool.
Hype ad spots. I like it.
FreshBooks,
Should be a new thing.
Squarespace.
What do we have left? There was a few interesting things.
Uh,
Nintendo is like doubling production of the Switch.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, which is like there isn't really anything to really say about that.
On account of strong demand, the company reported that now plans to manufacture at least 16 million consoles over the fiscal year starting April 1st, which is twice its initial plan. So I guess they didn't have very high expectations to begin
Yeah.
with, maybe?
Well, like, it's sort of a Zelda machine right now. Someone posted an interesting infographic, which I don't have.
'Kay.
I hate how I always have these revelations
Great
during
job,
the show
Luke.
instead of before the show. Super helpful for everyone.
Great job.
But it was all the launch titles for all Nintendo consoles throughout their history.
Yep.
And it was interesting seeing how my favorite consoles so far have had, like, not very many launch titles. Like, N64 had, like, 2 or 3. And Super Nintendo had not very many at all as well. At least NA launch titles.
Yeah, that's true.
They might have had more, like, JP launch titles or whatever, but not very many NA ones. I also, while I was on my trip in Boston, a lot of people had Switches.
That's not that surprising.
That was
Because you were going to PAX East.
No, I know, but still.
Yeah.
Like, it was especially because they were relatively hard to even buy.
True.
It was interesting to see people liked Zelda, I guess, that much to like kind of haul it around with them all the time when it's not that easy. It's not as easy as a 3DS or something.
No.
You can't just throw it in your pocket. You need to bring like a dedicated bag for it or have one of those ginormous carrying cases which are like legitimately this big, which is just like a little bit cumbersome. Get one if you're going to get a Switch because the screens are sketchy and like scratch up really easily.
Like yeah,
in the
it's-
dock.
It seems like a lot of their stuff is going to have quality control issues with that because I
Yes.
know there were also the issues that D-Brand
Yeah.
realized
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the coating on both the Joy-Cons and the console itself.
Are just not very durable. So D-Brand would put a skin on it, take it off, and it would just slowly wear away.
That, to be
coating.
fair, they said it was over a large number of applications and removals, but still, it should last.
That doesn't happen
better than that.
on a huge amount of other devices.
And like the N64 is still relevant, like not relevant, but it's still possibly in good shape today if you have one.
Yep.
Do you think that your Switch is going to last however many years?
I legitimately don't if
25
you're
years?
actually using it, especially because in different modes, I should say. Going in and out of the dock, I should have covered this in my video. I didn't have any problems with it,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't. But I did notice it. I just also noticed I didn't have any problems with it, so I didn't
Yeah.
bring it up. But when you go to rail in your Switch into the dock,
Yeah.
there's what looks like rubber pads that you would like slide it along. They're plastic. So you go to like slide it in and it slides against that and it scratches the screen.
What?
It shouldn't matter. But it has been. So like the one time I've docked mine since I got it, because I don't have a screen protector on it yet. I'm getting one. I'm getting one. I just don't have it yet. I like pressed it against the back of the dock and then slid it in, which is something you can do so that the screen doesn't touch the front.
Sure.
There's enough gap there that it's fine. And then once it was plugged in, I like lightly let go of it so that it just like rested against it, and then everything was okay. I just do not want to scratch it.
The dock is just aesthetic, right?
Basically, it's a glorified USB hub
So, like,
that holds the Switch.
oh, man.
Yeah.
To correct my statement from a couple minutes ago, the N64 was released in 96.
At least mine's plastic. 96.
That's crazy.
That is actually pretty crazy.
So 21 years ago, which is actually pretty nuts. Non-official estimates suggest the Switch sold about 1.5 million units in its first week, and that compares to 13.5 million Wii U units sold in the entire 4-year run of the console.
Okay. But the thing is, like, and I watched someone's video because someone was like, okay, a lot of people around the Switch launch are talking about how badly represented the Wii U was because no one knew what the heck it was.
Sure.
So he was like, okay, let's do a retrospective and look at how bad it actually was. Watching the press launches and stuff, even I'm sitting there going like, what is this?
Yeah.
They never show the actual console. They just show the tablet-y thing. Like, it's actually really weird. The whole thing is very weird.
I remember, like, even myself being confused as to what it was, being like,
Yeah.
is this just like an addition for the Wii?
Yeah.
Like,
It was very, very odd. And, like, the press conference for the Switch wasn't the best press conference I've ever seen, by any means. But you understood what it was.
yeah.
You absolutely knew what the Switch was. There was no questions about it. You knew what the Joy-Cons were. You knew what the Switch was. You knew there was 3 different modes. Handheld, tabletop, docked. You knew Zelda was coming on it. Like, you knew all the facts. And that's what really mattered. That was not a thing with the Wii U. To the point where even now, I'll, like, talk to people about the Wii U, and they're like, oh, man, I really want to play Breath of the Wild. But I don't want to buy an entire system just to play Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
And I'm like, do you have someone you can, like, borrow a Wii U off of? Or, like, go to Willow, which isn't available for most people, and, like, see if you can rent a Wii U. And they're like, what? Like, it's on the Wii? I'm like, no, it's on the Wii U. They're like, oh, so you have to get the tablet thing? I'm like, no, it's a different console. It had a really cool version of Mario Kart, and I liked it. Wii U is actually pretty sick.
Speaking of Mario Kart, like, I'm wondering if they're overproducing at this point, if they're doubling their plan to 16 million consoles over this year. Because what do they have coming out? Breath of the Wild. Anyone who wanted to get a Switch for Breath of the Wild has probably either got one already or just given up and bought Breath of the Wild on Wii U.
Right.
That's what I did.
Which
I just
looks
bought it on the Wii U.
very
and
good.
Yes, there's some stuttering in towns and
There's
stuff.
some stuttering on the Switch as well.
Yeah. So it's not like it's a Wii U issue. People are still playing it over there. What's coming out? A reskinned or not even reskinned Mario Kart 8?
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 with additional content or something?
No, I wouldn't call it a reskin. I think it's... Yeah, there's some things that have changed.
Mario Kart with additional content.
Yeah.
But a game that's already been released, and then like
To
two
be
other
fair,
games.
most Mario Karts are pretty similar. And there's some... It's just not as different as most of them are.
Sure.
But like there's more courses, there's more riders, there's this more new like training wheels mode thing. Like there are some things that are changing.
I'm just curious where they think 16 million units of demand is going to come from.
Yeah, well, like I'm expecting Smash. will
Smash for
come
Wii U
out.
took like 3 years.
Did it seriously?
2,
Man.
something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm maybe they have plans that we don't know about yet. Maybe they're going to be doing like massive virtual console stuff. I know that's been a huge point of discussion.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to have like Super Metroid and all this other like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time stuff that you can play through their online monthly subscription plan or whatever it is that they're doing. Maybe that's where they think the demand's going to come from. I would probably get one if a lot of those old games were on that and exclusively available through the Switch. But yeah, E3 announcements, people are saying that's possible for sure. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see because hopefully they'll have more stuff by holiday season. Otherwise, I don't know where they're going to sell 16 million Switches.
Another big one is Super Mario Odyssey is coming out for holiday season.
Yeah.
So people are interested in it right now because of Zelda. And then Mario Kart's coming out in like not that long, but it's not a new game, whatever. It's going to be kind of weird. I don't think a huge wave of people are going to buy Switches for Mario Kart. I don't really see that happening.
Especially now that we've seen how, to be honest, crappy the single Joy-Con experience is.
Yeah.
Because half of that was like, oh, you can do... I think they showed split screen, right, for Mario Kart 8?
Yeah, I think so.
So you can do split screen on like an airplane with your friends.
I legit don't want to do that.
Like, I tried to hold the Joy-Con, and I was like, wow, this is total trash.
Yeah.
Like, legitimate.
I am
like,
very
I don't
uninterested
want to do
in
that.
Playing Mario Kart on one Joy-Con.
On one Joy-Con. It's so uncomfortable. So maybe they'll have other more comfortable Joy-Cons coming down the line. I doubt that.
I don't think so.
But
some people have made like 3D printed adapter things that you can rail in that make it better. But for me, it's just the proximity of the buttons and the really
exactly
bad thumbstick.
How did that make it through?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand. Anyway,
so yeah, I wish them the best because I like Nintendo. If Super Mario Odyssey knocks it out of the park, I think they'll be in a pretty good spot because then, like, parents for kids who didn't want to buy a Switch right now because buying a Switch and Zelda is actually quite an investment.
No kidding.
Especially because they're probably also going to want a Pro Controller. And those Pro Controllers, being USB-C based,
they're like
really expensive.
Super dope, but not cheap.
Not cheap at all. So I could see it being a holiday purchase for a lot of different families. And if Mario Odyssey is good, that's 2 titles right there, which is often all it really needs to sell someone.
Samsung SA is going to have facial recognition for payments. Cool.
We can do this as like one of our last articles. These two we'll do. I like both of these. So first pictures of AMD VEGA reference card has been released. And there's a new logo. There's a couple cool things here to notice. There's the Radeon VEGA logo, which looks pretty sick in my opinion. And then that is like a cool stylized heatsink. You've got those like kind of slashes going on there. White back plate, which honestly is working with a lot of different system builds right now. There's a lot of white and black themed motherboards.
White, red, and black.
White, red, and black is definitely a thing. I think that could look awesome. The side of it still looks like it'll have the Radeon thing there.
Is that like metal, do you think?
I really can't tell. These seem like pretty not great photos.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm going to try to not make very many assumptions about that. But I see where you're coming from on the metal thing. I was actually wondering that earlier, but it could just be like a really crappy...
That kind of looks like a similar thing to the backplate that you checked.
Like something could go there. Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, no, I really like the look of the backplate.
I think it looks great.
It looks like it would be a V if it wasn't cut off there with the red logo.
That looks really sharp.
Radeon VEGA, clean text, clean design. It's got the lines on there.
Looks really sharp.
It's
like
really,
the design on
really
there.
badass.
I'm happy about that because like aesthetics are totally a thing now.
I ain't mad at that.
I ain't mad at that. Jumping to another topic, Sweden introduces programming from grade 1, which is awesome in my opinion.
I wish I had learned programming in grade 1 or in school at all.
I wish it was like more of a thing at the schools that we were at.
I would
wasn't really that much of a thing.
Instead of spending hours learning cursive, which I will never, ever, ever use.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to program something.
Yeah.
Like anything. I'm like not capable.
And the thing is, it's going to become like you might want to start taking Linda courses or something, not to give our guys a shout out. But because it's going to become
oh god,
the bot is targeting you now, so you only have to post it once and then it reposts it like a billion times.
I just spammed
just
chat.
Tanked the chat.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Gun Run just global bans you. Too much spamming. Anyways, it's going to be a very competitive thing in the job market because even business people, if you can make little bot things to help do stuff, if you can write really complex Excel equations, whatever, that'll help you a lot. And speaking of really complex Excel equations, they want to integrate the fact that they're teaching people coding in schools into their math and science programs. So in order to solve certain problems, you're going to be able to write a program to do it for you. And they're going to want you to try to figure out how to write programs to solve different arithmetic problems automatically instead of you doing it. And they're going to want you to be able to do it on your own.
Yep.
Because they're going to go like, okay, now that you understand this concept, kind of show me how you understand it by making this computer solve it for you. And then you've now ascended beyond that. You don't have to worry about doing it manually anymore. You can just have this computer do it. I think that's super cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Instead of,
Okay, it's time for your grade 12 provincials. Everybody clear the data on your graphing calculator. You can't have any games or cheat codes on your graphing calculators. Otherwise, you're going to get expelled. We can't have it.
That was so annoying because I actually had a lot of stuff in there.
dumbest, like, school, man.
Sorry, I brought tools that made me prepared for this issue. My bad. Anyways, a note from Sweden's Minister of Education says, we need more coders, and it's a skill that will be needed in more jobs in the future. Moreover, we are being affected by coding to a growing degree.
To a greater degree.
Probably. That makes sense.
To an increasing degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is super cool. I think teaching coding in school is super important. I think that should be like a basic skill that basically everyone has.
Yeah. I wish I had some of it. Because I'm going to be that old man who's like, I don't get these kids these days. They have the code. They have all the stuff, the technology. It's ridiculous.
I even took some of this stuff in school, and I'm going to be that old man. So I need to take refresher courses.
Isn't it weird feeling old?
It is.
These kids.
3D printing and coding
Kids these
is
days,
going to be taught in school.
I tell you.
That's going
I
to
tell
be
you what.
really interesting. Anyways, guys, I think that's it for the stream. Thanks for coming by. Thank you for watching Sick and Tired host the WAN show for you this week. If you want to tune in next week, twitch.tv/LinusTech. It's pretty cool.
Same bat channel!
Not this coming Friday, but the one after that, are we going to be able to have a WAN show? I have to be cryptic.
I think
I'm
so.
sorry.
And not today, but next Friday, I think there's going to be some guests on the show.
Oh.
And I think there's going to be a
Announcing.
special announcement.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye. Wait, I have to roll it. Oh, God. Okay, we're good. Hey, Cole.
Hey there, Reddit. How you doing now?
We're doing late.
Finishing up the show.
I'm running the outro.
You want to come say hi?
It's also just the intro.
The intro's the outro?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Squarespace!
Freshbooks!
Freshbooks!
Oh, never mind. Freshbooks, software.
Look, it's Colton.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, all right, let's talk about today. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.